Bro, like, I had my own idea. We all do this, alright?
Alright, fine.
Can you guys shut up?
I just sit
No.
back. Bro, we have to remember the fallen soldiers.
Yeah. Alright, fine.
Alright, so first
Marco!
No, Moses was the first one. Moses.
Aaron's mum, bro.
Moses.
Aaron's mum.
Aaron's.
Moses.
And the Levi squad.
Petra.
Ian.
Gonta.
Marco.
Oh,
The guy who shot himself.
He was on screen for like 1 second. Yeah.
Bro, every fallen soldier is a fallen soldier.
Aaron's original group, when he
Bro,
got
put your hands on your chest
Thomas.
and say it.
Thomas.
Thomas
Wagner.
Thomas
Wagner.
Is that it?
Yeah, they're all dead.
Yeah. Let's go.
So it was a long journey. But we're just at the tip of the iceberg right now.
That was the prologue. You guys just finished the prologue of Attack on Titan.
It's prologue, what is that?
It's like, you know when you read a book, it's like the starting and then...
Oh,
it's not even like the main
That's
story.
crazy.
You know?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
If that's the prologue,
What are you guys' thoughts on anime now that he finished the one season of Attack on Titan?
First, before we start, I think we've all taken this pretty seriously. We've listened to the comments.
I was just gonna say, we leave
I
one's taking initiative.
You guys have actually opened my eyes as well, because if I'm being honest, even in real life, I'm very sporadic with my thinking. I can be pretty stubborn, and this is doing this actually. Learning, discussing, it's actually opening up, and I realize I have to be more structured with my thoughts. That is something that
Can't be throwing at Erwin's bad because he's words.
no,
Alright, so what? Let's start with you, right?
No. Before we go into that, how have we progressed?
That's
as
what I was going to
anime
ask you. So let's start with you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
On how I've progressed as anime.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, like, I've watched a bit of Pokemon in my time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always had... I never really disliked anime. I just never watched it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did have a bit of a... Not a hatred, but it was like, I can't be bothered watching it type of thing.
Yeah.
But, like, this first season...
Yeah.
It's one of the best first seasons I've ever watched, I think, of any show. I think I can confidently say that. The way the first episode gravitated me in with the mum's death, then as it progresses, it poses even more questions every time that you just want answers to. And then the character development is pretty good in my opinion. Like, yeah, it's like how they've built up Eren, then they've built up other characters around him, and all, like the whole story in season 1. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. What did you think? I want to hear what you think.
for me, we've all heard Attack on Titan before. I'd heard of it before. People saying it's good. I never got around to watching it, and Ronnie even suggesting it. Ronnie's planted the seeds because once he's starting into anime, we started hearing more about anime because when we'd all be together, he'd start talking about it, and that kind of opened me up and made me feel like, look, I've watched a lot of these other shows. Let's just give it a shot.
I think you were also influenced by like big celebrities and like
Yeah,
fighters and
100%.
stuff.
Exactly,
Like,
that's very true. Like for
Yeah.
example, like Israel Adesanya, even a lot of these athletes who, especially Naruto, they talk about Naruto, and even like I'm also
Jujutsu Kaisen, they talk about the
I'm
fighting.
also feeling an affiliation, like recently, like the songs, like the little.
I was
like,
just gonna say that.
it's
the
not the so far the songs that they have behind the fighting scenes, but the more like serenic, like the beats.
Got you.
For example, that I've already heard. I've heard a few from Naruto.
Yeah.
One of I think it's called Itachi.
Yeah.
Like
a song.
I literally been playing that in the car. It just makes me feel like I'm in a zone. So it's everything around it. Even it's a lot deeper than I thought. It's not just some cartoon stuff.
Yeah.
When you actually think about the characters, I'm actually relating to characters, and I can also see a lot of times in real life shows. It sometimes feels a bit staged, or it's like a
seems
show.
acting. It seems
It's a
like
show. This one with non-fiction, because this is fiction, right? Not real. They can depict ideas
Yeah.
in a very creative manner and the reality of things. It's
I could, like, to add on to that, like, you know how they can express emotions
Exactly.
so much better and on a deeper level with the shadows, the line, like, you know what a character's kind of
Yeah.
feeling.
And,
at
Yeah,
the time.
so-
and I'm feeling I'm growing with some of these characters. For example, I'm already the Eren. Like he started off as stubborn. When I started this, I was pretty stubborn as well. Now, hopefully, for example, today,
That's why you relate to him so
yeah,
much.
no, it's like he's growing as well, and I'm growing along with
With
him.
him, yeah,
Same
that's
thing
good.
with Armin. I didn't see the beauty in Armin at the start. I just thought, in reality, when you're in a war situation, you just had to be strong. But now I'm seeing the power of the mind, the power of strategic thinking, and how everyone works together. And-
Preparation.
And that's how reality works as well. When you're out in the world, not everyone can just be.
Yeah.
It's very deep.
You
It
can't,
genuinely is.
just have
So-
brute force
Yeah.
and win.
So
For you though, wait, because I know you're not a fan of fiction at all, right?
That's
It's
what I was
like
gonna
the
start by
first piece
saying.
of fiction you've really like. I feel like you've gotten into.
yeah.
So yeah.
So
for you, how's
so
it?
fiction for me, I've always been very skeptical when I watch fiction
Yeah.
because it just doesn't resonate with me. I like to see things that are a bit more practical in the world that I can sort of not have that creative imagination side of my brain working as much. So coming into anime, I wasn't expecting to be so engrossed in it from the get-go. I was expecting it to be developing over time, but I think I went pretty deep into it from the get-go.
You were probably the most close-minded.
I was very close-minded going into this.
Even some certain episodes that were a bit slow, you
could tell from me watching me on camera, I'm a bit disinterested. I look like I'm watching it, but I'm still a bit like low energy. I'm not really feeling it. But as the episodes progress, I realized that there's like what you said earlier. I think that was a good point that you said, is the deeper meaning with everything. There's a beauty. So the beauty in this that I found was, regardless of the very sporadic action and very fast-paced sort of scenes, you get the deep the deep undertones of characters and personalities shown so vividly. Like, for example, in a non-fiction TV show, you would look at all the character build-up happening at the start of the season, and they'll go on for like 5-6 seasons. In this, the 5-6 episodes is literally just action, but through the animation, through the music, like you said, they've shown a deeper side of the characters and character building without even really showing the characters that much, which is so fascinating. I have never seen a show or anything in my life deliver something like that to that great detail without, you know what I mean, giving a backstory on the characters, all that sort of stuff.
Would you say you're almost emotionally invested in certain characters? Like, I know you are invested in Eren, right?
I actually look at it differently. Actually, but I am right, because you get more invested in these characters. Because when you're watching real people, right? Because real life actors, when you're watching these live action shows, right? You see the characters as like the people.
Yeah, exactly.
This, it's almost like it's a creative avatar that they've portrayed, and you can make anything of the avatar, and it's a journey.
And you don't have problems with like bad acting.
So none of that. You can appreciate its beauty. It's literally, there's music. It's creative. This is a creative genius.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you guys a question. I found that I'm almost at the state of like, I'm surprised at how I've been able to relate to the characters regardless of the fast-paced nature of the show.
Like on that point, right? It's like, I didn't think I'd almost feel myself attached to certain characters. Like, you're like,
they don't even show a backstory to these guys.
Exactly. Like, you know how Rowan,
you already know.
you know how Rowan said the Avatar, right? Like, I fell in love with Armin's change and his process, like how he went from like, I'm scared to putting himself on the front lines almost and being the lead. Like you become that person almost. You feel like you can be whoever you want in this. It's like,
but isn't it weird how you grow to love these obscure characters that are not even like main characters?
They're irrelevant.
And we haven't even seen their backstories.
We haven't seen shit.
How do we develop with them so well in one season? That's amazing.
So you have a few questions for us.
We have some community questions.
No, even you. Can you like remember when you? You got pretty deep the anime as well now.
For me, rewatching this show as well. Sorry, let him finish coughing. Rewatching this show as well, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like, compared to other animes, this show has so many layers. The plot is like, it's insane, man. Like, it's genuinely, you guys will realize it once you watch other animes. Like, people in the comments are saying it's like, they don't really match up to AOT. Like, they, like on a level they don't. Like, they all have good points, bad points. But in terms of like story writing, character building, maybe like overall, like,
the plot in this is just peak.
Because this was the first show you watched as well, right?
And this is only season 1. Yeah, this was the first show as well.
And then
this was like 3-4 years ago as well. Yeah. So
and it's still hitting. You were literally like when we were watching the Annie Eren.
Yeah, I'm into it, bro. I don't remember.
He even like sometimes after we finished the episode, he's like,
but I don't remember that.
Sometimes he forgets, and he's like, it still feels so good to rewatch.
That's what you guys are feeling as well.
Exactly. So it's like, it's probably a universal feeling.
Yeah, 100%. We're probably gonna feel like that if we watch it again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Alright, now let's go with the questions that you've got.
Yeah, let's go into some questions
from our community.
Yeah, we've got Discord and YouTube questions.
Yep.
Alright, so I think we'll get the dumb questions out of the way first. Alright. So, when will we see a Ronnie Mikasa cosplay?
When are we seeing that?
Ronnie.
I think.
You know what? I'll join in with you. I'll be Eren.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm
genuinely down. I'll be Eren. I'm Eren though.
I'll be Levi.
I'll say 50,000.
You are not Levi, buddy.
I'll say 50,000 subscribers. 50,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
You guys can check it out on our Instagram. We'll post it there. Yeah. Cheeky plug.
No, we'll out of 10k, we'll do a special. We won't say what it is.
Oh, yeah, 10k we'll do special.
10k we'll do a special though.
Yeah. Alright.
Fair, 10k subs.
Alright, this one's for Roland. Alright, explain in 1,000 words or more why Erwin is the GOAT. That one's for you, mate.
He hasn't written that much
You
in
wanna get into
5
that
years.
No. All right.
Let's hear it.
So in my notes that I've structured for this episode,
No, let him speak. Let him speak.
I've seen your point of view, and you guys are right as well. You guys are probably 100% right.
Yeah, we are.
All I'm saying is he's a great leader. If anyone else was the lead, there's probably no other leaders. Even Pixie guys like we haven't even seen Pixie. Even a guy like Pixie, right? We saw him like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Like these guys are good leaders, and realistically, when that line that Erwin said, it's like, all right, if you're gonna tell me who's gonna do it better than me,
Yeah.
like realistically, right?
Yeah.
But in my notes, I've actually got key points why I believe Erwin is not as much as you guys are glazing him.
Alright.
Points of reason why.
Alright, let's hear
Number one, so I've written down here why I don't believe Erwin is the best leader.
it. Alright.
Number one, he's willing to sacrifice his soldiers. In the forest, he knew that there would be so many casualties, and there was as well as Levi's squad dying. So he views people as a tool, all these people as a tool, and I don't view him as an honest man. A good leader, in my eyes, should balance strategic with lives of their own men. He is focused on the bigger picture, which I respect, but it hasn't paid off yet. It may pay off, and the way you guys are talking on the comments, you can say it's a spoiler or not, but it looks like maybe he does pay off, so maybe he's respected.
Wait. What would you say? They're a tool. He views people as a tool, right? So what's the problem with that?
Yeah.
In order to achieve it.
So look, you guys may respect that, but I think if you're a leader, you still have to believe, you still have to care about the people who you're leading.
In war, the greatest quote that this show has is, "Who's willing to sacrifice more?" Because the enemy's willing to put it all on the line.
All right, let me just finish, and then
That's fair,
then you can dissect.
Yeah.
I can only base off what I've seen so far. His plans so far have created nothing but death, and no plans have really worked.
I mean, they did
That's the
capture.
dumbest.
Listen, without Erwin, like Annie would have just. They captured Annie. Like technically, they did.
Did they?
No,
Did they,
okay,
though?
they sealed us.
Okay,
sealed
not
us
just
up.
that. Not just that. To take back the key, the basement, right? If Annie wasn't there, they would have done that, right? If who is going to? He's done the most out of anyone ever.
So I can see this point as well. I can understand this point. What I'm saying is number 22. Number 22. Number 2, the lack of transparency with the soldiers. How many times have people questioned
What he's doing.
What he's doing? Exactly. So there's a lack
He
of
couldn't
transparency.
trust him.
All right.
No, it's not even about trust.
He was
It's a
he
case
was
of-
trying to weed out the trade-off.
That's
why he couldn't tell us.
Yeah, that's what.
Alright,
That's a good point.
fine.
Second
Maybe-
thing is keeping people calm around you as a leader. If you let people get emotional and tell them exactly what the thing is going on, people won't be able to handle that.
But maybe-
so you got to keep
That's like
people
that's like
objective.
Levi giving that badge
Okay,
to the other
fine. So,
person.
but maybe, for example, I can learn leadership stuff from Erwin. For example, stuff like this. And number 3, as I said before, it's failure to still actually deliver what he's planned.
Okay,
Okay.
let me just
They
let me just
captured. Okay,
let me just put this point home for you, yeah? You know the last episode
What?
in the meeting, how they were like, oh, like if you guys failed again, whatever. Erwin said, no, we learnt more about how these titans. We know now that the humans can be titans. We learnt this, we learnt that. We actually have a body of someone that was a titan. So they are making progress. Mind you, it's not great progress, but it is progress.
Can I
nonetheless.
ask you a question I ask you every time?
This is getting very dragged out. And for example, I agree with that as well.
But you
I've been dragging
Listen,
it.
listen,
Let me just
listen.
finish off my last point, and then you can say your point, and then we're done.
Finish it.
All right. But I will also admit. Oh, actually, before we say that, do you think that how they captured Annie at the end? Do you think that was Erwin, or do you think that was Aaron?
That's see.
That's a collective.
If not for
It's a
Erwin's
survey
all
call.
Erwin's
You
plans.
It's
have
a survey call.
Ron, you have a tendency to look at everything in a very individualistic
Fact.
way.
The credit
You
goes
need
to
to
everyone.
understand
It's a
but-
survey call.
The credit goes to everyone, but Erwin was the one that made the plan.
He made the plan.
The structure of things are very important. The reason, there's commanders, the reason there's big weapons, the reason there's big soldiers, that's a collective attempt to do things. And you can't dissect onto who did what and how much person, like this person, you did this much.
I agree.
It's not about
I
that.
agree.
It's
I
about
agree. I
the
agree.
greater good.
I agree.
But I also kind of disagree. I disagree with his point.
Fine. I agree. And let me say my last point. I will admit there could have been potential prejudice where I said stuff because the way I'm also thinking, right? This show is deeper. This show shows that there could be things, and I also took a kind of guess based on other shows. I will admit other shows played a prejudice in how I viewed him as a character because sometimes the top leader, sometimes they actually turn out to be a bad guy, or sometimes they don't always have the best interest of the people.
So you don't have an open mind.
No, I do. No, I can admit that aspect I didn't. So for example, I have it written down here. Wait, and so that I can say was not much basis, and I was influenced by potentially he could be on the bad side or something like that, because sometimes in these big shows, these leaders who are perceived at the start of the seasons are good, but they actually turn out to be bad. And I'll admit, I maybe juiced that prejudice up with Erwin, and now I will stop. I'm still not fully convinced with him, but I respect everything you guys have said, and I still that the points I've
let's
made.
move on. I think let's move
Wait,
on.
I have one question. Just one question. You're still yet to answer, and I tell you every time you bring up that Erwin's done nothing. Which other person has done something else? Because don't say Aaron, because all of Aaron's things are because of Erwin.
Armin has made plans and they have worked. They've made plans and they've actually worked.
What, in a small little group, in a group of 5 people?
But
Sorry, you
Wait,
don't
wait,
know.
Owen's plans has also worked.
Exactly. No, that's my point. That's my point. Other than Erwin, who's done something that's worked?
Fine. You know what? Fine. You know what?
No one.
I think
if you want to,
throw in the towel and
I'll stop though. I don't hate him. I was just questioning him, and it looks like because I've questioned it, it hit everyone's nerve. It hit your nerve. It hit your nerves.
No. It's
so
not
you know
because
what?
you questioned it. It's because you
Yeah, I
came
did question
into it with a controlled, like a preconceived bias without even
Exactly.
letting
No
it play.
evidence.
No evidence.
I literally-
no bias. Like
Alright,
if
fine.
it
You know
was
what? Fine.
just
You know
a
what?
bias.
We'll agree to disagree. But fine. Now I'm to the point. Look, maybe it's because realistically, people would not
Just
be
say
like.
you're gonna move past it. and
I'll
that's it.
move past it.
Let's
I'll
it.
move past
Alright, let's leave it
I'll
at
move
that.
past
Next
it.
point.
I'll move past.
Next point. Alright. Question is, Season 1 leaves a lot of questions unanswered, especially about the origin of the Titans and the secrets in Aaron's basement. What do you guys think is hidden in there? Start with Biraj. Let's go.
Me, I think. Firstly, like I've said this in previous episodes, it's almost going to be like you know a science lab where there's like plans everywhere and all these things. I think there's going to be plans on the secret of Titans, right? So like maybe where they originated from, or like what serum was used to inject the power into them, anything like that, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's actually going to be where Aaron's dad really is, and if he's even Aaron's dad. Right? Listen.
Alright,
I think there's something got to do with because it's their house. They said that's Aaron's dad's workplace, right?
Yeah.
So all his whereabouts, everything, because we actually know nothing about him. I think everything we know about him, we'll find out there. Like he could be a mad scientist who captured Aaron. Like, for all we know, it could be anything like that, right? That's why I said if he's really his dad.
My thing is, I think that's what the truth is. All the answers about the Titans, everything that vicarious that we are trying to learn as well as the people of like Aaron and stuff trying to
What
learn.
are those truths?
We're gonna find out with them.
What are those truths? Like, what do you think's actually in there? Obviously we know answers.
He
Right?
did say science lab in the second episode.
I like it's just about how tight all the information about Titan. Because realistically, like
And you think the dad has all those answers?
No, I don't think the dad has all the answers.
That's his basement.
It is. No, I think he has something to do with the creation of these Titans. For example, another big question I actually had: can anyone be a Titan? Because Armin bit it, Annie bit it, or do you have to have that special serum? We talked about
Armin
the serum.
bit it.
I mean, Annie bit it. Annie and Aaron. So like the serum.
Let's
serums that create
We'll
the
talk
Titans.
about that in a bit. Let's just focus on the basement.
That's what I think. It's serums.
Yeah. Okay.
So
truth.
more serums.
Yeah, or like the truth about what and
serum.
everything about the Titans.
Right. Okay. So for me, I didn't say anything different to these guys. I said the same thing: origination of Titans, how they're created, and I think I agree with Roland's point. They probably have like syringes and all sorts of stuff that can actually turn a human into a Titan. So I think that's the lab. Almost,
Gotcha.
you know what I mean?
I have a point.
Yeah.
I think there's one of two things in there, right? You know they're talking about serums of how to turn a thing into a Titan?
Yeah.
I think there's a secret there on how to control a Titan.
Yeah, like a playbook,
Like a playbook.
of how to,
Like you know how Annie's dad, because Annie didn't just do this for no reason, right? We'll get into Annie, but like she didn't do her motives for no reason, right? Like her dad planted a seed in there. He knew how to control it. Like even Aaron's dad was like, we got to do this. It's like there's a playbook on how to elicit emotions. It's either you're playing on the human side of that Titan, because both times we saw it, they were playing on the emotions of the human, of Annie and Aaron, right? It's like, we got to do this, we have to do this, right? That's what the dads were playing at. They weren't really playing the Titan side of things,
Gotcha.
right? So I think the secret to controlling the Titans is control the humans. I don't think
That could be a plausible theory.
Alright, we can get into like the Annie side of things in this next question.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think is the reason behind Titans attacking humanity? And do you guys have any theories
Start with you
related
guys.
to this?
All right, so let me pull it up. All right, so I think, like we said earlier, Titans are formed as weapons to rebel against authority and government.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the rebellion and the anarchists, people that don't want corruption and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
They defy the evil nature of humans in general. That's why Titans were created. It's almost like a weapon to just seek back that quote unquote control. You know what I mean?
I have a question for you though. This isn't the first time we're seeing Titans though. Do you reckon there was this control 100 years ago when Titans were first introduced? That's my thing.
No. I think to answer that question, I think it comes back to now I'm starting to question. It's an outlandish theory, but I think it ties back in with that religious doctrine. Like, meaning, I think there's something deeper with people thinking that humans being conquered by these Titans, like select few, is actually for the greater good. And that's tied in with religion some way. Because remember how they said they worship the walls?
Yeah.
Right? So the Titans being in the walls, there's a deep connection there that none of us fully understand, I think, yet. But that's what I think the secrets are with this. It's the concept of humanity inherently is evil and weak. So we must make something that's greater than humanity in order to get that power back.
I think there's potentially something beyond those walls
100%.
Yep.
that someone or people that don't want the humans to find out about. That's why realistically there was no attack. You know how they said there was no attack within 100 years?
Yeah.
Because within those 100 years they hadn't really made, anytime they get attacked, it's only when they try to go out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What do you mean go out? Survey called go out.
No, that's why they get attacked. So anytime they go out, it's like...
No, because the walls are stopping Titans from attacking. Titans have been around for 100 years. It's just they've never attacked the walls.
Maybe because the walls were actually created by Titans to keep people in, and not find out the truth beyond the walls.
I disagree. I think it's humans created those walls though. Remember, it's literally said in the flashback. Humans created those walls 100 years ago. The survivors 100 years ago created those walls.
They just said that.
Bro, this is... Listen, what I think is, right? Like, you know how you said they're doing this... I can't remember. No, they're doing it for the betterment of humanity, right? That's what you said. They have some ulterior motive, right? Yeah. I think it's kind of like Thanos. Yeah. It's like, you know how Thanos wiped out half the population to make that half better, right?
Yeah.
Why are you nodding as though you've watched Avengers? You have no concept.
I'm listening to the analogy.
He knows who Thanos is, though.
Yeah, I know who Thanos is.
Like Rowan said, part of a higher power, right? I think there's some group of elitists out there, like Aaron's dad, Annie's dad, like you said, some secret anarchy corporation,
secret
whatever you want to call it, right? And I think they're protecting a secret, kind of like the wall, right? So I think the elitists, like Annie's dad and these dads and the wallists, I think they have some collusion going on right now, right?
Yeah.
It's like they want to keep everyone in. They say you know how everyone was like the government's bad.
Yeah.
I think these wallists and elitists are actually the real problem. They're the ones who's trying to keep everyone in.
Yeah.
Because they're protecting the secret that's outside the walls.
Keep everyone in. Oh, that's kind of what Ron said. Like, you're saying they're trying to keep within the walls.
And I think it's actually by previous... Because from what we've seen as well, these Titans, it's past humans. Or like, it's humans. Like,
we can't confirm that.
We can't confirm that.
No, but I think like that's it makes the most like sense.
It does.
So you think it's humans that turned into...
Yeah, I agree with
the
that.
humans, humans that have been programmed by something, like a syringe or something, that have been programmed to go against the humans. That's why, you know how you said this whole Civil War thing? It's still humans versus humans, but it's actually humans in Titans just versus humans.
Wait, no. I just read one of my last points.
Yeah.
This, you know what this all feels like almost? A power grab. It's
It's
all a power grab.
There's people at the top, for example, like the dad society,
They want control, right?
Because so you think the government controls these Titans like Annie?
No.
The dads. What are the dads a part of? Because we've seen both dads this time are trying to get their kid to do something.
It's the anarchists.
It's that elitist group.
And both times the kids, Annie and Aaron, didn't know what the hell they were getting into.
Exactly.
And that could be with millions of these Titans who were once humans that got programmed by something.
All I say is it's not a coincidence that they've shown so many corrupt individuals in the government, especially in Walshina inside.
Yeah.
You see these, corrupt individuals. There's a reason why the show is showing that, because I think that ties in with you yourself as a viewer hating that aspect of the government as well, and sort of not empathizing with the Titans, but you're almost understanding it.
Yeah.
So
do you think that this elitist group we're talking about or whatever, do you reckon they're majority from Wall Maria, that poorer outskirts? Because these corrupt individuals in Cena...
I think
No. Like, you know how we're saying Annie's dad, Aaron's dad, they're part of... Like, he's trying to say, they're basically trying to overthrow the government, right? For the betterment of humanity.
That's a really good point.
Right?
I think you're right in
So
saying that.
you're saying it's more the outskirts
Outside,
wall,
because those are the poorer sections that defy government, because they don't actually have the control.
But then, so for me, what then do you think about, like, Commander Irwin and these guys? Because they're living comfy as well. Not Commander Irwin, but, like, Dot Pixis, for example.
Yeah.
Or Commander Irwin. Even though he goes out to the field, they live comfy. But they're not corrupt so far as we think.
Yeah. So this is my thing with this, right? I think there are noble individuals out there for the betterment of humanity. I think I can confidently say Cap Irwin for me has seemed like someone that's been noble, and his cause is greater than himself and his team. Right?
I think this is going into the next question as well with Ronnie.
Yeah. So let's.
This is going into the next one.
What is the next question? I don't even know. Alright, so with everything that's been revealed so far, where do you guys think the story is going?
Yeah.
And what are your theories or predictions about how things will unfold from here?
Ron, you go first this time.
So I think there's going to come a period where Aaron's going to learn about his Titan powers. He's going to understand what he has, why he has it, and how to harness it. And then alongside that, I think how this is going to move forward, it's going to cut the answer of how people turn to Titans, and I think a lot of these other guys are going to turn to Titans. One speculation that I have, if Armin becomes a Titan, he will be my favorite character almost. Because he will have it's almost a bronze with the brains, or whatever you call it, right? Because then I think there's a playbook that everyone will learn how to fight. Because Annie learned how to harness her powers somehow. She would have learned how to be hard. She would have learned how to actually fight as a Titan powers from somewhere. And that's what I believe, right? So, I think Aaron will learn that, and I think the other Titans will learn that as well, and then they're gonna fight, for example, the final boss.
So Aaron's gonna learn how to get hard.
Yeah. So, because there's still gonna be a fight. The fight against the final boss.
Yeah, the final boss.
So
you think the whole crew will turn to Titans and fight?
Yeah.
My thing, I'm a bit more structured, right? I think this.
Wait, what are you trying to say?
That was good.
No, it was
right,
a bit structured, but it was
fine.
There wasn't a real timeline. There wasn't a real timeline. I think. So I think the Survey Corps, that what's it, Hanji. I think she's gonna get info out of Annie, right?
Yeah.
They're somehow gonna break the ice cocoon, the throw up, whatever it is. Then I'm gonna find out that they're gonna find out she was manipulated or controlled by her dad, right? Because you know how it was all like, Annie, I love you, you're the only one. I reckon she's gonna be like, you didn't love me, you were using me, and all these things, right? In her brain, she's gonna think all these things, and she's gonna want to project all the information out. That's what I think is gonna happen. Then I think they're gonna use this information to almost find out about the armored and colossal Titan, right? And the identity of the humans behind those. Because we know they're humans, right? We know that's a whole clique. Oh yeah, to your point, right? You know how Aaron's gonna learn about his Titan powers and all this. Do you reckon he's gonna join Annie's side and these other Titans who are human side of things?
Now what he's gonna do? He's gonna join their camp. He's gonna act as a mole.
That's what I was gonna say. So look. So my theory is.
Wait, I haven't even finished.
Go on. Finish your theory.
He's gonna be a mole.
I think then the leader of the elitist or higher society or whoever created those Titans will show their face, right? Like, not to Aaron and them, like that group, but like on the show. We're going to actually finally learn who that final boss is almost.
And it's going to be someone within the circle.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be crazy.
Listen, you just... Look.
Attraction.
Yeah, look. A person who created the Titans will show face, but this person was always amongst them. Like the king or something like that in the government, right?
Commander Owen.
Yep. And then I think... Shut up.
Yeah, maybe Erwin. See, that's why Erwin's banned.
You shouldn't say his name from now on. Like, you're banned from saying his name.
ERWIN. What are you going to do about it? Put me in another
chokehold. You're just ruining me, man.
Go.
Then I think Aaron is going to leave the walls of humanity and go on his journey, right? Like in the middle of the night, he's going to pack his things and just leave the wall. Like, you always see. And I think Mikasa and Armin are going to go with him, or Armin instead is going to be like, I know my true power, and he's going to become commander. Right? I think that's what's going to happen in that
scenario. To Owen?
Yep. And then I think, listen, once Aaron goes outside the walls, anything can happen. Literally anything can happen.
Alright, here's my theory. The mole situation, I think the show is going into... It's going to show this anarchist side of the Titan group a lot more in the next few seasons. It's going to show their intentions more. It's going to show what their motives, right? So Aaron's almost going to play a mole role, like you said. But I think in that transition, because he hasn't really learned how to tame himself fully in the Titan mode just yet. So he's going to go reckless and play for the opposition for a little bit. I think he's actually going to lose control and actually play for the other side and actually try to attack humanity with
And then I think when he's fighting...
And they'll be there, and then they'll
You think he's going to try and attack humanity?
Yeah, no,
Listen.
But he's going to lose the control in the Titan
And
body.
then I think he's going to meet Mikasa and Armin. And they're going to change his mind against what am I doing?
Let me finish. That's true. People are going to try to tame him constantly, and this is going to show Eren's battle in fighting the Titanhood in his personality while trying to balance the human side of him.
That's actually a beautiful point you make, because one of the things I said, I remember thinking there has to be a scene where I think there will be a period where Levi and Eren go against each other, because they're such similar characters in the show. There will be a time when someone is fighting for one side, someone is fighting, there will be a battle between those two. And my whole theory about how I think the whole gang will become Titans, everyone has to become Titans, because how would Levi fight Eren?
No, I think the skills of 3D gear.
Yeah, I would say not everyone's going to be a Titan.
Erwin's not going to become a Titan. I can guarantee you that. He's going to plan how to stop Eren.
Listen. Here's what I think, right? So, all that's going to happen, but there's this whole notion of ethics that's going to come into this, where people are like, all right, I'm not going to be a Titan because I don't want to hurt humans, blah, 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 blah. So, people are going to start turning to Titans, the ones that want to take over and kill the anarchists, whatever, right? Yeah. But the question of ethics is going to come back, and people that don't want to turn into it won't turn into it. So, it's going to be a constant war between the anarchists and the government. That's what this is. This is the rebellions against the government.
What do you think the final point actually is then?
The final point will be, I think I agree with what your theory is. Someone in there would be like, that we already know is the main villain that we just don't know about. Like,
and
for example, the government official.
That's what I was insinuating about Erwin. That was my whole insinuation about Erwin. He's actually, even though it's ironic that he's a leader of the thing, but he's actually, that's why all these plans, he doesn't work, because he's actually against them.
That was fair, but everything we've seen on screen so far has been contradicting that. So
one thing I will say again, for someone who really does not like to talk about Eren as, you only like him as a weapon and all this thing, your whole story revolves around Eren. Well, everything revolves around Eren. That's
because what you're missing is Eren is the main catalyst in displaying all of the.
He's the main character.
He is obviously the main character. My point all along has been, let's dive deeper and look at the intermingling of all the other characters, so you get an idea of what the society is like. Like what
the characters are what? Like,
so wait, what?
What's the next?
Don't worry. Well, this goes into Eren anyway, so I was going to ask him. So, someone asked you, are you fine with the fact that Eren had survived? And do you think less of the show for including such a moment
I was going to talk about this as well. Good question. Eren being alive in, I think, season 5 he came back. Not season 5, episode 5.
Episode 7 he came back.
Episode 7 he came back, right? Him dying in episode 5, coming back in episode 7. At the start, I was like, wait, so they're just going to kill him off and then bring him back. I was skeptical. I was like, wait, what's going on? But after a few episodes, I was like, wait, there's probably a deeper reason, because he can turn into a Titan at will. There's a reason why Titans aren't killing him. There's a very deep reason why he's not dying every time he faces a Titan.
How could it take you a few episodes? Wouldn't you realize as soon as he became the Titan, you're like, was there a sense of, this makes more sense than if he was just to come back as a human?
I think you started realizing it more when Eren himself was asking the same questions that you were. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
He doesn't have the answers himself. He didn't just go, I have these powers now, right? He's like, why do I have these powers? He's thinking what you're thinking.
It wasn't cliche.
So it's like he has to get those questions answered as well. You know,
like the justification was very. I think it was. No. Like the justification to why he's alive, it hasn't existed. But from all the
questions,
scenes, what that's transpired, I think. The justification is there, and it's going to be a good justification, knowing that Eren is a Titan and he's capable of Titanhood and all that stuff.
Why do you say Titanhood?
I think the thing you said is really important, because it's not about the justification; it's about the question he poses. It's what we're thinking,
exactly,
right? He's asking the same questions we're thinking.
But I still think there needs to be a justification. I think it's coming. I'm not to answer your question in 2 words. I'm not fully satisfied with it.
1, 2 words, but
I'm not fully
just listening.
I'm not fully satisfied with how they've justified, because
they haven't justified anything.
They haven't justified.
That's why I'm not like.
You gotta watch. I'm just gonna go get a banana. All
right. Let's go into our top 5 characters. Everyone's top 5 characters.
I'll start.
All right, let's go.
Number 1.
Top character in season 1.
Don't say something stupid.
Captain Levi.
That's your number one.
That is my number one.
Good
Interesting.
shout.
Right?
Briefly explain why.
He's literally the GOAT. Right? He's almost... You know how you said you'd love Armin if you became a Titan because he's your brawns and brains, right?
Yeah.
That is Levi. Like, as much as... Like, Levi has a plan as well. He might listen to Erwin, but below Erwin, he's number one.
He hasn't smiled yet once.
And what? He cares about everyone. Because he's carrying a burden, right?
Yeah.
He just like Erwin's carrying an even bigger burden.
Okay.
He's carrying the burden.
Who's
of-
number 2?
Huh?
Let's keep this short and brief. We'll expand on it a
Let
bit
me
later.
Yap about
Okay,
Levi,
go,
the
go,
GOAT.
Go,
Alright?
Keep yapping.
No, fine. Because I'm sure you guys have Levi as well. If you don't,
You'd be stupid not to have Levi. That's all I'll say.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Why look at me?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. if you
Go
didn't.
next
I
one.
wouldn't-
Next one.
Eden Yeager, right? He's number 2 for
Number
me.
2. Yeah.
His passion and his determination for his goal for freedom. I feel like a political campaign. But like, just everything he portrays is kind of what you want to be, right? Like
Yeah.
that hunger he has, everything he has.
That's why I love him.
Like certain people here have questioned his leadership.
Why don't you just outlandly
Listen,
say who it
listen.
is? Like, stop.
Certain
You know what I mean?
people have questioned his leadership, right? Because they think there's multiple ways to be a leader. Like I say, when Eren leads from the front, it might be irrational, it might be reckless, but I want to go with him, right? I want to go with him. Like everything about Eren makes me want to join him on his journey.
Number three.
All right, you're probably gonna yap more about Eren. Number 3, I've combined 2 people because to me they're similar.
Wait, so you've got 2 people as number 3.
Yeah.
Let's just hear him out.
Bro, this...
Erwin / Armin.
Bro, that's okay. That's
Listen,
that's
listen,
Alright,
listen,
let's just do 3 and 4.
Those are
then.
completely two
No,
different
no,
people.
no.
Like, well, let's just hear both.
It'll be one
Wait,
second.
very
wait.
quick.
Alright, I'm gonna put on a 30-second timer.
No, you don't need to do all that. All right,
You have a 30-second timer to tell me what to cook.
Just let him finish.
Alright,
Let him
go.
finish.
I better not hear you guys yapping. Then.
Alright, go.
Alright,
You have
go.
30 seconds to
No,
go.
no.
I'll start again. 3, 2, 1.
No, I don't need 30 seconds. To me, they're similar. More than similar.
Yeah.
Like Armin is literally going to become Erwin when he grows up. I'm calling him right. He's already got the traits of Erwin. Every time, even the last scene, he's talking about Eren, you're crap. It's because you hesitated. Armin's got that I'm willing to sacrifice everything mentality as well. Same as Erwin. These guys are the commanders.
But you said Erwin actually cares for people more than himself.
He does. He's selfless. So does Armin. Armin was.
Oh, yeah.
So does Armin.
Yeah.
They're all the most.
30 seconds done.
30 seconds done. Number 4, Jean. Right, Jean is my number 4 character because he's thrown in the mix of all these like sensationalists almost. Because like at the last scene, I feel like that last scene when he's walking with Jean, right, and Jean was in the room with Mikasa, Eren, Armin.
Yeah.
I thought that was important because it's like Mikasa's like the number 1 fighter, right? Eren's the Titan that's helping everyone. Armin's his ultimate strategist. He's just kind of there with them. Like he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's still on equal footing with them. You got to understand that. He's still on equal footing, but he's the normalist almost. And number 5, we've kind of barely seen him, but Dot Pixies, right? And this relates to the next question as well. Dot Pixies.
Why is Rod laughing?
Because these commanders.
I personally would not put him in my top 5 as well, but I get it.
This guy doesn't have Mikasa like.
Nah. Mikasa, I wrote here. Listen, would have been Mikasa, but I don't know. I just didn't resonate with her as much, and her reliance on someone like Eren, even though she's so strong, like that reliance. I just don't
No,
know.
you can talk about that.
Yeah, you can talk
let
about
him,
it.
just let him finish.
Well, like,
It's an
Pixie-
ISO play right
listen,
now.
Pixis, yeah.
These commanders who have so much burden on them, they seem so calm and so fixated on the goal. Like him and Erwin, like it's crazy to me. Like,
Okay,
all
so
I
that's
have
your
to
top 5. Yeah?
Roll,
Alright,
roll.
Ron, your turn.
Number 1, we all know it's Eren. I won't even get into it.
Who would have guessed?
I feel like I'm going on a journey with him. How we've started
Facts.
is how we're journeying is how I feel with him. He started off very stubborn, just get knocked down. I've been knocked down by you guys. But you know what? I love it. Because I have a bigger picture in mind, right? I have the greater good. I want freedom as well.
I'm certain there's some people who are sitting right here thinking the same thing
I
as you.
want freedom as well. But Eren's had to learn. He's had people around him be like the Survey Corps who are all dead. Sorry, rest in peace. As we said at the start. And there's been other people who have tried to mentor him, help him. And I feel like you guys are doing that with me. That show is doing that to me. You guys are doing that to me. So I feel like I'm on a journey with him.
Yeah.
Number 2
You're not the main MC, bro.
goes into Armin.
That's
What?
high.
Armin is my number 2 favorite now.
He's got to be top 3.
He's got his top
Bro,
3.
my lists are different to you. Oh, yeah, go.
So Armin is number 2, alright? Purely based on the fact he's actually ruthless.
Facts.
I'm learning. And he's smart. And he's actually caring. And he also has a bigger picture in mind. And so he works very well. Eren needs Armin. Armin needs Eren.
So can I ask a question? What is the difference between him and Erwin?
Bro, let's not get into
Oh,
Erwin, please.
yeah,
Let's not.
It's an ISO player.
no,
Right? Let him cook.
Yeah,
It's his
fine.
turn.
So
Let him cook.
That's why
Yeah.
I have them as 1 and 2. Eren is 1, Armin is 2. They could
Yeah.
probably be interjected. They both need each other. Number 3, I have Mikasa. All right.
That's high.
I have it purely based on the fact because it's showing me the dynamic between the male and female, between all my characters all relate back to Eren. So that's why they're my favorites.
Okay.
So Mikasa as well. We see Mikasa's strong, but she does it purely for Eren. She's like his rock. And whenever Eren goes wild, she's so caring for him. She cannot lose him. Even that last scene at the end of the season, it was like she's like there as a nurturing soul for him. She is his rock. And I think that is so beautiful to see, and she cares about him so much that I love to
But
see
you're
that.
talking about it like she's not independent.
All right, let's just let him.
Is she? Okay.
Is she the exactly?
That's why she's not in my top 5.
And then
Yeah.
number 4, purely based on the fact his mystique and what his potential is, Levi. So he's shown great potential. He's shown a mystique, and there's so much. The reason Ronnie's like there's apparently 2 episodes we've got to watch about him, right?
Yeah, there's
Right.
backstory.
It's like none of these other characters have their own backstory.
They do.
Oh, okay.
We're just watching Levi ones, but yeah.
Alright, so, but for example, he just seems like he just got introduced. His first scene he came on, he looked like he was the alpha already, right?
Yeah.
And so I already like that.
Yeah.
And then number 5, you guys are gonna be a bit surprised. Captain Yuri, Sasha.
Shut up.
Bro.
Let me-
He's trying to suck up to the viewers. Nah, no way.
Trying to do too much.
Alright,
No,
yeah.
she's my favorite because
Alright, yeah, okay, whatever.
Alright,
Alright, go.
you
You
have
go.
no
Alright, shut up. You don't
She
have to-
too.
no,
She
realistically,
too.
because if I'm being honest, you said top 5 characters, bro. I don't have 5 characters.
Oh,
I
okay.
like 4,
Oh,
and then I just said last one. I don't know why.
All right, you be quiet. Now it's my turn. All right, characters. Number 1 for me, which I don't know if you guys were surprised or not, Mikasa. She's number 1 for me. So
Hell no.
purely the reason for that is she shows the duality of the
She's
beauty
not
with.
favorite character.
Just
It's
shut.
my turn
Bro,
to talk.
why
You
are
already
you
had
interrupting
your-
so
you already had your
much?
segment.
Let her speak. Let her
You've already had your segment.
I'm
No one's
just
interrupting
saying.
you. You can dispute that later. Let's
Yeah.
just.
No, I want to dispute it now.
This is
Nah,
personal.
don't dispute it. Bro, let him go through it.
This is all right.
I
So
can say what I want. You don't need to address me though.
all right. So the first one is Mikasa, purely because she shows that duality between beauty and also like she's also very strong at the same time. She shows that very very well in the show, and she's the nurturer, like you said. She knows how to nurture the weapon that is Eren, right? So I just like her ruthlessness combined with her beauty and like just her nurturing nature. It's really good to see. Mikasa's number 1. Number 2 is Armin. I think Armin, like all of us have said, he's a strategist and he's the brain. In times where people need him to, like, you know, come up with ideas, he does that very well. So Armin is number 2.
And he's a thinker like you.
He's a very deep thinker, and that comes from an empathetic point of view, which I really
Yeah.
respect. That it doesn't come from a place of self, you know what I mean, like self-fulfilling
Yeah.
preservation
Correct.
philosophies kind of thing. It comes from the greater good, which
Correct.
I love to see that. Right. So and the next one is Levi. So
Right. Okay, yeah.
So Levi for me, he's like what we've been saying. He's the good combination of the brains with also the, you know, brawns. Yeah, with the brawns. So Levi's number 3. I loved one of the scenes that stood out to me is when he was beating up Eren, because Eren needed
yeah, that was a great
when there was
scene.
tough love required. He knows how to give tough love.
yeah.
So you need characters that can give tough love as well. And Levi, he did that very well.
Yeah.
Erwin is number 4.
This is crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
I think Erwin is number 4 because he's
If he's not in your 5, if the man, I think
He's number 5.
so Erwin is number 4 purely because he's the guy that's willing to put aside his emotions and what he feels for the greater good. He's willing to wear it all on him and make sure people are aligned with their tasks and objectives so that they can accomplish the greater good. That's a leader, you know what I mean? So that's the definition
Who's
of
number
leader.
5? It better be that name.
Number 5 goes without saying is Eren.
Oh, okay.
I think number 5 has to be Eren. And we know why. I don't think I need to expound on this more. We've already expanded on this quite enough. Just promptly, I would say, with Eren, he's the seek for freedom is the thing that I respect the most about him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The pursuit of freedom. So that's my 5.
We actually have very similar lists. Like, the top 3 is the same. So
Yeah.
I have 1 as Mikasa.
Yeah.
I think, you know, she's a good fighter. Every time she comes on screen, I
And
love
this
it.
is your interpretation from watching one season.
One season, yeah. This is only first season,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
going to talk about anything else. So yeah, I think she's unintentionally funny, which is good.
Yeah.
I love her voice actress. I don't know, that has nothing to do with the show, but I love her voice actress.
Yeah.
And one thing I don't like about it is like she's too obsessed with Eren. I don't
Way
like
too
that.
much.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's like she's a bit possessive.
That's why she's not in my top.
Yeah, but other than that, she's good.
I like that.
I love
My
that.
number 2 is also Armin. I don't have to go into it. Legendary this season. You know, he got them out of so many like tight
Way
spots
too
and stuff.
many.
It's crazy. Number 3 is Levi. You know, his whole mentality, aura, all that. Number 4 is actually Eren. He's all the way in number 4 because I actually found him really irritating and annoying. Like, I don't know about you guys.
Because all the yelling and.
Bro, at the start, he's so like self-righteous.
Yeah.
Even like a little bit now, like he's a bit annoying. Like,
kind of like him.
yeah, he's a bit annoying. Like, but he's obviously one of like the most intriguing characters in the show, so he has to be in the top 5. And number 5 is Jean, relatable, and I think he's one of the best supporting
Yeah,
characters.
you had John as well. Yeah.
No, Erwin is crazy though.
I don't have Erwin this season. I feel like he didn't get enough camera time
No, he hasn't.
and screen time, so that's the only reason I don't have it, but-
The impact was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I just
it
like
was.
what he stands
But
for. That's it.
Compared to Levi, I don't think Owen stood
Alright,
out that
let's-
much.
Next question. Next rendezvous.
Alright, next thing is top 5 moments in the show.
You start.
I'll just start because mine will be quick. We all know.
Yeah, everyone make it quick.
Yeah.
Alright.
So my top 5 scenes were Eren turned from in the last episode we had the green eyes to blue eyes, that transformation. I think it's symbolizing.
That's your number 1.
Yeah, that's my number 1
That's
scene.
crazy.
No. It was the beginning. It's a beginning. It's the end of the beginning,
Okay.
and it's a new thing.
Alright.
Number 2 was Eren's first time transforming
Yeah.
into a
Okay.
Titan. Third scene was Eren carrying the boulder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 4 was in like the little
These are all
spe-
Eren.
No. Number 4 was Eren's speeches he was
Yeah,
giving in
to
like
Jean,
at the camp
to
and stuff
Thomas.
in around episode 3 and 4 when he was giving the speeches from stuff he'd learned from Annie and stuff. The speeches I just love those. And then number 5 was the Annie reveal.
Alright.
That's my
You
top
guys?
5.
I'll start with mine. So for me, number 1 was Mikasa's frantic rage when she finds out Eren is no more for the first time. When she's
It's
just
your favourite moment.
that's my
Bro,
favorite moment.
shut
When she's,
the
You like seeing that?
Shut up!
no,
Shut
no, just listen.
Shut
When
up!
Can I talk?
Bro, what is this
when
guy
she,
saying?
when I say frantic rage is when when she just goes out and she's trying to kill, she kills all the Titans. Like Armin tells her, and she's like, okay, and she just goes out and she's like chopping up all these Titans just in a killing spree. It was amazing.
Bro's
to see
in
that.
love, man.
All right, that's number 1. Number 2 was Eren's transformation to a Titan when he's trapped under debris with a piece of timber going across his heart.
Oh,
So you know when that
was
piece of timber is
Yeah.
going
Oh,
across
yeah.
his heart, and
That
he's
was
like he doesn't know the
sick. That
mechanism.
was sick.
That was hard. So number 2, number 3 is obviously Eren being a Titan revealed when we find out he's alive.
Yeah.
That's number 3. Number 4 is Levi beating Eren up in court.
That was a sensational scene. That could have been my fifth
that was
scene.
that was a
I
sensation.
love
Like that goes to show what humbling is. Tough love. You know what I mean? That was good.
He enjoyed that.
Number 5 is when they killed Eren in episode 5. No, hear me out. It's not because I don't like Eren. Number 5 was just, it was like a curveball
Yeah,
almost.
I agree.
So I love seeing that curveball. I was like, it took me on the edge of my seat. I was like,
Had
what
us
does this
thinking.
show?
Had us
You know what I
thinking.
mean? Yeah, had me thinking. So that's number 5.
Lovely.
Ronnie, you go.
Big Raji boss.
I'll do one then, alright. So mine's number 1 is, I thought this was like an obvious one. Eren like transforming in the stomach. His first transformation. I thought that was an obvious one, but alright, fair enough.
That was my second.
Like the music, literally everything.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Eren saying he was born into this world. That line's like a
Oh.
bit of a banger. That's like
Oh.
that's like shows his whole purpose, like he's
God,
fighting for
that
freedom,
one.
all that. Number 3 is Levi versus female Titan. I don't know why you guys didn't have that one. I don't know if you
Oh,
had
that was
like,
insane.
you guys, you know, Beyblade mode.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Erwin's speech when he's recruiting people for the survey
Yeah.
corps. And number 5 is, I don't know why, I just love the scene, like when Mikasa says Annie fall in the last episode. Like, she's like,
Oh,
I just
yeah.
love that
Oh,
scene.
yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
Annie fall.
No, you know what it is?
Goes
No,
hard.
no, you know what it is? Because you watch the second time, you can pick up on these, like, the nuance,
Smaller
the
ones,
smaller
yeah.
detail.
Yeah.
Bruv, I'm just like,
That scene, I love that scene.
For me,
this is I'll actually like want to rewatch
For
it.
me, my number 1 scene is Eren lifting the boulder after Armin gave him the speech and that whole
Yeah.
I'm free and lifting the boulder. That has to be number 1. And then number 2 was Eren versus Annie in the woods, and then the Annie reveal, and even when they come in, that whole little sequence.
Yeah.
Number 3 is just any scene with Levi fighting.
Actually,
Literally every time he's fighting, it's the coldest thing I've ever seen.
Facts.
Number 4 was Commander Pixis' speech when everyone was contemplating, right? And he's like, go do it. Number 5, like, it's not my favorite, but it's a top 5 scene for me in season 1, is when the mum dies. In episode 1,
yeah, that comes back so many times.
the
as well.
mum dies. You saw a flashback just then as well. The love.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that scene is, it's a pinnacle of everything.
It's like Eren always reverts to that
It's
whenever
the starting.
he's like,
It's the starting
Yeah.
point. Like, I feel like that's an important scene.
That's a good list.
You know what?
I think we've
We've
smashed it.
We've actually paid attention.
Yeah.
We smashed it.
I'm actually like I feel I'm engrossed.
You love this show. Is there any negatives to it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I've got it
just-
written down
what about
here.
negatives?
I've got it written down here. I've got it written down
You
here.
guys know that?
Start with you. Start with Lauren.
Alright, where is it in my notes? Give me a sec. Oh yeah. So done differently. I just had a couple of points.
Yeah.
So maybe provide backstory more early on, but I think that's what the show does so good. It'll explain later on, but early on, like everything's being thrown at us, so maybe provide a bit more backstory.
Yeah.
The second point, I think they kind of just chuck everything out there, so it can be a bit overwhelming to understand,
Yeah.
especially for someone like me, maybe
First time
who,
watching.
yeah, as
anime.
first time watching, we're not as smart as Mr. Genius over here, and then and yeah, just a bit more character development. But I think we got that in episode 6 with understanding why Mikasa was the way she is, Eren. So just
Slow
understand.
down, bro.
Yeah, slow down. Just
Slow down.
So we're not running away.
Sorry. Yeah. So just a bit more character development, and yeah, those were my 3 points.
My main point, and it probably ties into like what the show's about, but
Yeah.
they almost repeat certain things so many times.
They do, yeah.
Like, I don't know if they want me to look there, if they don't want me to look there, but they repeat certain things just so many times for me. Like, it gets a bit annoying.
Give us an example.
Like, I don't know, like certain flashbacks that happen or certain scenes, like the key always dangling. Like, I know they're like trying to get me on edge and anticipate what's happening, but they just repeat it too many times, right? But I also do think the moments they show the repetition, like I had forgotten about the key until they show
They
it.
do it in vital moments. I think the show actually does really well.
It's a good thing, but it's like
Yeah.
they do repeat certain things.
Yeah,
so-
got you.
I've got like something they could just work on is I would like to see more music and Serenity even more.
We
like
have
they're doing it now, but like those Serenity scenes like Rowan talks about, like the
Yeah,
you
more
know what I
beauty.
mean? The beauty, like.
But if you
that
put a
kind
lot of that in, it doesn't hit
Yeah,
as
but it's
much.
still a war
Yeah,
show,
I guess
so
so.
that's why if you have too much of that, it does it.
Yeah.
It ruins it. Like the beauty in it can be if you
Yeah.
show
It's
something.
so rare.
I hear that.
so
I,
rare.
I hear that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one. Number 2 is I'll go back to this. Eren's death, showcase, and regeneration. That whole like dilemma. I'm just confused even till now. Like it's not like I'm against like oh yeah that was so bad.
But
all
is
this
that-
other stuff.
It hasn't
I'm
been
just
explained yet. Maybe
it's-
that's
it's-
why.
I'm watching this show from the standpoint of confusion and like not knowing what's going on.
Not as much enjoyment.
Yeah, not as much. No, it is enjoyment. I'm
Yeah,
enjoyed
but-
at the fact that I'm confused, but I'd like to see the confusion get like dimmer down a little.
I was just about to say, certain questions need some answer.
Can,
Yeah,
can I
correct.
just? Yeah, I think that's a fabulous point. Honestly, the way I'm viewing the show as well, I'm so engrossed in it because, bro, I don't think I ever had to think this much when I'm actually watching a show. Honestly, there's so much thinking that sometimes, like,
You're lost.
I just lost, but I'm lost in it. So it's like
You're still watching.
That's what we did, bro. That's what when you talk about it, it's not even feel like we're watching anime anymore. It feels like we're involved in that world, and we're watching as viewers trying to figure out what's happening.
I think for me, one critique I had was like I enjoyed the season, but one thing is you know when they have like internal monologues where they're talking in their own head. I think Armin does that a lot. I don't mind it, but it's not
I like
something
that. He
It's not
loves
something I
that.
like.
Bro,
Like,
that's insane. You said that's actually my favorite part of the show. Because every
I like
time,
that
every
one.
time someone thinks something,
I think they have too much of it. Like they have way more in other animes, so it does well to like dim it down. But I
feel like the
stuff
times they do it is good. It's like when
Yeah,
nothing's really happening,
yeah.
they're running.
That's
they-
why
they-
it's a very small critique. It's like
Yeah, no,
everything
like,
else is good.
Like they
but-
do the maneuvering gear, and we just know what the guy's thinking
Yeah.
as it's moving. It's
I
like
think,
imagine
I think,
you
I
go
think
on
a good example is when you know when Eren transformed into that skeletal thing,
Yeah.
and they were just sitting there and like talking for the whole episode.
Yeah.
That episode, I was like, it's a bit of a drag.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you know,
Could've
what I mean?
sped
Like,
that up.
Yeah, yeah. That's the
You know,
only
it's
thing.
funny,
But it's
so-
a very small thing. Like
I think sometimes that when that internal monologue
It helps you understand.
allows us to understand what the characters are thinking. Because, for example,
Yeah.
a lot of the times when characters say something, they're saying it because they want to inspire others, these leaders.
Yeah.
But deep down, they still have their doubts.
Yeah.
So we can actually hear their doubts.
That's-
So it
there's-
actually
there's
allows
good and
us to
bad
understand
points, yeah.
them more.
yeah. Fair. Alright.
Okay, that's good. What do you rate this season, BR? You start.
What do I rate this season?
Rating out of 10.
Out of 10. Is it just okay? I'm not trying to use a comparison, like compare it to other shows. So just based on what I saw, I'd say like a 9-1.
So for me to
That's what you want us to rate on IMDb.
I-
Bro, just copy.
9-2, 9-2, 9-2.
honestly,
No sevens as well.
yeah, you can't say 7. So
that
I'm going this
No,
based
it
on
was-
enjoyment
Yeah.
and actual how I feel immersed.
Yeah.
And combining those two, I'd say probably like an 8.6.
Okay.
I reckon 8.6 is what my rating is so far for what I've seen.
I'll give it a solid 9. I think a 9 is good. I'm just surprised that I love
I was just
this.
about to say, I think we all went so much higher than we would have
Yeah,
expected.
no, because I was what was I 6? I think when we did a rating before.
you were.
It's amazing how that's gone up.
Because you couldn't pick a 7, so you went a lot.
Yeah, no, because
lower
I was
than
still like confused, skeptical. I just didn't know.
Was
But
that
now,
after the first episode? You did 6.
Yeah, remember? Because
I can't remember
because
what. Second or first, I can't
because
remember.
remember,
It was
we
first.
said we were gonna have to rate out of like out of
Yeah,
10,
yeah.
and then I said you can't say 7.
Yeah.
So if you said 8,
That was episode 1 though, right?
it
You
was
said
above average.
eight, I said
it was
9.
above average or below average, and now it's like you know. What
yeah,
I mean?
it's
It's through
surprising.
the roof.
I'm still confused and surprised when I watch this show.
I think this
But it's that's the beauty
the
of it.
show will keep hitting more once you understand the details more and more.
Like, I know this guy's already loving
For
it.
me, I would rate it, but I'll just say, for me, this is the weakest season. So
In terms of like just what happens, or just in terms of everything.
everything.
Because it's the
That's
prologue,
crazy.
so that's insane.
Animations and stuff start changing later
If
on.
this
as
is
well.
the weakest season, then I don't know what
We're in for a ride.
We're in for a
We're in
roller
for a
coaster
ride.
ride.